It's time for WorldView Wednesday. I'm Shelley Webb, your Pathway to Empowerment coach. Today's topic for WorldView Wednesday, unfortunately, is another tragic case involving abuse. This time, sexual abuse. The case is 1 year old already, but it is being discussed a lot right now on TikTok. And sadly, cases like this are more common than we want to believe or that they should be. This case involves a young 13-year-old girl named Naziah Harris. She's missing. The details surrounding this case are extremely disturbing. She lived with her grandmother, her aunt, and the aunt's 5 children. On January 9th, 2024, Naziah never made it home from school, and her body is still yet to be found. The man in question, in connection with her disappearance, is this baby's uncle. The man is in his 40s. His name is Jarvis. He is the father of the aunt's 5 kids, along with several other children, a total of 13 children. This man has done time, extensive time, for sexual abuse of other children, one of which was his very own 4-year-old child, whom he gave an STD. Why on earth was this man ever allowed near this young girl? Or, if we want to think about it, any other child at all, let alone by herself? Which, from what I've gathered, she and several other children frequently spent time alone with him. This case is incredibly heartbreaking. So many people failed this young girl. Had the adults in her life been doing anything positive or anything remotely helpful for this child, all of this could have been prevented. Had she gotten the care, the love, the attention she needed at home, she would not have been as susceptible to being an easy target for this man, who, in my opinion, groomed and emotionally manipulated her for years. Because we know this started many years ago with her. Had the adults been protecting her and the other children in the household, as they should have, this monster, and yes, he is an emotional monster and a physical monster, would never have been allowed access to any of these children. Here are some precautions that we as a society can take to help keep our children safe and safeguard them against men and other predators, because it's not just men. Number 1, make sure to build an open dialogue of communication with your children, starting at a very early age and not having any topic be taboo. Number 2, teach good touch, bad touch to your children so they understand what touch feels like and why it might be good, and which touch may be bad and why it may be bad. One of those things we need to look at with good touch is it is wonderful to teach them how to self-soothe by rubbing their hand up and down their arm, playing with their fingers in their hair, rubbing their hands down their legs, touching their fingers back and forth. Those are all great touch. Bad touch is any touch that is in a private part or a private area and when someone tells you that touch needs to be kept secret. Number 3, don't push affection onto children as they go, such as like, go give your uncle or auntie a hug. Don't do this. Children should be allowed to actually state whether they want physical touch, who they want it from, regardless of who it is to you or how they may be related. Because another thing we have to remember is that a lot of times people that abuse children sexually can and often are related to them in some way or another. Ooh, that's a big one. So let's also take a look at some warning signs that we can actually use to help us keep an eye out for things that may be more, detrimental to our children. So some of the warning signs that I would like you to think about, on which there's just a few. If you want to learn more, there's many, many more places to look for warning signs of this. But number 1 is a desire to take the caretaking role for younger children. Number 2 is fidgeting around a lot when they're sitting, putting their hands close to their private parts, them having infections or having STDs. Number 3, being more silent or withdrawn with certain people in the room or in their lives. It is so vital that we as adults are vigilant with protecting our kids from these harms, that we keep an open line of communication with all of the children in our lives, because we can be that protector even if that child is not our biological child, and that we provide a safe space that they need to discuss every concern, every fear, every hope, and every dream they may have. If all of our fears are true, and this little girl is indeed no longer with us, I hope and pray that her body is found so she can be given the proper respect and her body can be laid to rest properly, bringing closure to those that do love her, bringing closure to those of us that are wanting the best for her. I also hope that every single person involved with this case and her abuse and her disappearance and her death are brought to justice, and that we actually set an example for the world to see so that they can have the maximum punishment that they deserve for hurting and harming this child. I hope those who actually loved and cared for her are able to get the healing that they need. We need to do better. Let's do better as a community to protect these sweet babies, our own children, and the children of our communities. Let's be their voices. Let's protect them from harm. And let's hold people accountable for their actions. Hopefully, we can create a world where children can be celebrated, they can be safe, and they can focus on school and being children, finding the joy of being carefree and uninhibited as only we experience in childhood. As always, let me know your thoughts and opinions on this case, as well as suggestions on things you may want to hear in the future and how you may have ideas to safeguard our children, how we may keep them safe, and help everyone do their best. Stay safe, everyone. Until next time.